We'll be hearing from John Dawson, the owner of a few home service businesses, including Green Duck Lawn and Land, Cassie Allen, the COO of Wheatley Creek Services, and Anthony Salazar, the founder of Salazar Scoops. Take it away, team.
I am so excited for today's session. We're about to drop some knowledge on how you can grow your business through local marketing. A little bit about what we're going to talk about today. What is direct response marketing? Then we're going to share a specific framework called the marketing triangle, and then we're going to use that marketing triangle across 3 different industries for 3 businesses and how we've implemented that in our marketing strategies. A little bit about me. My name is Anthony Salazar. I'm the owner of Salazar Scoops and the YouTube channel Poop Scoops for Noobs, and I pick up dog poop for a living. I grew my pet waste removal business to 6 figures while working full time, all 100% because of the use of direct response marketing. It's a results-driven strategy that has 3 core components. The first one is an offer. You have something enticing for your audience to raise their hand, take action, say, I want to do business with you, and because they're taking that action, you're able to measure the results and see how well your offer is working. Direct response marketing is super powerful because you're actually telling people to do something. When you have clear, concise call to action, if you're making it easy for them to say yes and take the next steps, it just helps your customers move forward down your marketing pipeline. So for example, call within the next 30 minutes for a free consultation, download your free guide today, or claim your limited time discount now are things that you can implement in your marketing strategy. Another reason why direct response marketing is super powerful is because you can measure the results of your campaign. Measurement means accountability. You're able to accurately track the return on your ad spend because you know what's working and what's not working. Tools that you can use to measure the efficacy of your campaign using unique promo codes, custom tracking links, unique landing pages, phone numbers. These are things that you can implement in your marketing campaign so you can measure how well it's doing. And another reason why it's super powerful is because you're eliciting an immediate response from your audience. You're helping them make that decision now because life is chaotic and you don't want them to get lost before doing work with you. So you can use elements like scarcity, saying there's only 3 spots left, implementing deadlines with your offer. This offer expires at midnight, and incentives to do business with you. Here's a free gift when you do business with us. Direct response marketing and all marketing in general has a specific framework that I like to call the marketing triangle. Everything starts with the who, your market. You want to identify who is the ideal person you want to do business with and who they are not. When you know the who, then you can start framing your messaging. The messaging is the bait that you use to attract your audience to you. So for example, if you want to try to catch a mouse, you would use a block of cheese in your trap to attract them to that trap. And once you know your who, once you know your messaging, then you're able to implement that with the media that most effectively resonates with that target audience. This is a breakdown of the 10 rules of direct marketing. I've learned a lot under the godfather of direct marketing, Dan Kennedy. We're going to leave additional resources down below for you to use if you want to jump more into direct marketing. But the number one thing that I want to leave you with before we start going to these case studies is the fatal sin that all businesses do, thinking that my business is different. Especially in Jobber Summit, you're going to be hearing all sorts of panelists, all sorts of techniques, ideas. You need to remember that just because something doesn't directly apply to your business, that doesn't mean you can't pick and choose different elements of their strategies for your own business. Your business is not different. We all have core things that we need to focus on to move forward. So just remember this fatal sin. So writer downer, my business is not different. And with that, I'm going to hand it off to my colleague, John, who's going to talk about how he implemented the marketing triangle in his business.
Thanks, Anthony. Hey everyone, my name is John Dawson. I'm the owner of Green Duck Lawn and Land, as well as a couple other service-based businesses. And I've grown these companies through local marketing by understanding a few things and using that marketing triangle. So I'm gonna give you guys more of a brass tacks kind of case study of what I did wrong and how I learned how to market to my audience, right? My market. So the first thing with the marketing triangle is like Anthony just went over, who's your market? Mine was rural landowners, homeowners, college students, and parents. My message I found to be, with trial and error, right? Reliability, community focused, and connected. They want to see that you're plugged into their community. And then my media, which this may sound, kind of archaic and ancient, but it's QR codes with business cards, truck decals, yard signs, word of mouth, and social media engagement. Those things really worked well for me, even though I wasn't used to using them. So the things that I did wrong, which I want to explain because it kind of sets you up as to how to understand this, is I built a marketing campaign on what I thought would work for me, not what my community and my market wanted to see. I tried to sell them on things that I would want to be sold on, not what they actually wanted to be sold on. I valued my time over their time, and I tried to look bigger than I was. Now, in those four things right there, you can see a lot of me. A lot of the things were focused on what can I do, what do I want to do, how do I want to sell, how do I want them to see me, and that was where I went wrong. So I had to go back to the triangle, and we started with the first one, who are these people? They're homeowners, landowners. Where do they spend time? What is their lifestyle? What is valuable to them? And what platforms do they use? You can't just cast a broad net and expect to have warm leads come to you and just start purchasing whatever it is that you're offering. So I had to figure out that they're not really spending time on the big platforms, the TikToks, the YouTubes, the Googles, where it's all fun to make a message. They were spending time at the local feed stores, the Atwoods, the McCoys, the lumber yards. That's where they really find their peaceful place because they spend most of their time there 5-6 days a week. So I had to figure out what their lifestyle was, which in my case was running cattle, owning horses, whatever type of livestock, farming, and what's valuable to them. A lot of these people are overwhelmed with all the things that they're doing. They want their time back. How do I serve them something that gives them their time back and gives them trust and credibility with me handling whatever the task is that I'm handling? And then what platforms do they use? The city that I used to live in, Yelp was number one. Instagram was number one. I moved here and I ran a huge campaign on Yelp and Instagram and Google, and I got no return because I didn't think about where my community was spending their time. The next thing is message, right? Tell, don't sell, give back to the community, build relationships with clients, and do the extra thing. So the tell, don't sell is tell a story, bring them into the story, right? They're the star of the movie, you're the supporting role. Lift up your community, lift up your potential clients. They're gonna see value and trust in that, and they're gonna wanna purchase whatever you're selling. Give back to the community. I coach football. I drive the truck in the parades. I do a lot of things where I don't ask for anything in return, but they see that I'm plugged into the things that they care about, which automatically gives me that credibility. And that goes along with building relationships with clients. Have the conversations, invest in them, learn about them, speak their language, and understand what they find valuable. And then do the extra thing, which is if you're on the job and you can pick something up for them, you can do that little extra bit of work that takes you 15, 20 minutes. They're gonna talk about that around the dinner table, at church, in their community meetings, wherever they are, and that's going to create more leads for you just by doing a couple extra minutes of work. And then the media I found to be business cards at frequent spots, like I previously said, the Atwoods, the feed stores, truck decals, which is just something that they can see driving around their community. They love to see people who are there and in their location, not someone that's selling them a roof from 100 miles away and then some random people show up to do it. They want to know you're invested in them. Yard signs are great. If you do great work, make sure they know who did it. They want to see who's actually in the community serving their people. Conversation, like I said before, be conversational, don't just sell all the time. And social media engagement, this is a big one that I had to learn. I'm a big social media guy, but sometimes you need to just break down and say, hey, I don't need to always be the star. Sometimes I need to go and comment on other people's posts, uplift them and empower them. And then phone calls and follow up, which is self-explanatory. Be available, check on them, make sure they have everything that they want. So just to show you guys here, the marketing, the message, the media. My market is build around your community. My message is speak their language, not yours. And media is focus on getting your business in front of them at least 7 times so they can build trust towards what you're offering. And the last thing to sum it all up, all of this can be brought down to be a good human and serve your community, and they're going to trust you and they're going to be more willing to use your services when they're finally ready to need what you have to offer. So I'm actually going to hand this off to Cassie, and she's going to take it from here.
Hey everybody, my name's Cassie. Thanks for joining us today. I'm with Wheatley Creek Services in a small town in Colorado, Granby, Colorado. I do come at you with 20 years of digital marketing experience, and so when I was looking at the marketing triangle, I wanted to use that experience and partner it with AI and voice search and how our current audience is using those mediums to be able to find us. And what I did was actually went to our website first because I can control that avenue really easily and make those updates. And looking at what we currently have as far as blog posts and how people are using AI, we notice that people are asking questions, very common questions in a very natural language, right? In SEO, we've commonly seen like short tail keywords that were used, but in AI, what we were seeing is that it's long tail. So direct questions like, who is the best handyman near me? And how do I fix a leaky faucet? But let's take a step back because we had to define who our audience was before we even dove in to this too much farther. So what we did is we sat down as a team and we looked at who our favorite clients were, the ones that we love and the ones that love us, the ones that have been with us since the beginning. We came out with Creekside Kate and Mountain Mike and Molly. We live in a ski community. Creekside Kate is our second homeowner and Mountain Mike and Molly is our local audience. These two are very different local audiences for us, but they're one of our top clients. And on the flip side, we have our audience that we're actually not going after. We named them Barter Bob and Home Depot Hank. That probably already paints a picture in your head. They're looking for a handshake deal and a discount, and they're probably more fit for the local hardware store than they are our company. With all of that said, we're able to come back and come up with ideas on how we can feature or how we can connect with our audience that does fit into our wheelhouse. The next thing we did as a team is we sat down and talked about the questions that we're already hearing that these clients are asking us. They're calling our phones and they're asking us these questions. So take a step back and how can we add to that list? What are the questions that they're asking into their phone or even the devices like Alexa in their homes? Odds are they're asking questions about finding reliable home services in their area, especially for us, our second homeowners being oftentimes they're not even here. So they're looking for reviews and ratings, and what AI is doing is featuring those companies at the top that do have higher ratings that are coming up in the search result when those searches are asked. Now you're probably asking yourself why this even matters in the first place. It shouldn't surprise you that 90% of consumers are relying on voice search because it's easier and it's more convenient. No surprise there, right? It is convenient. And with the rise of AI that we've seen in the industry, it's going to continue to increase as we move forward. So with this information armed, what we did is we went to our website first and we started updating our blogs by directly answering those questions. We also went to all of our service pages and we added FAQs at the bottom of our service pages that answered questions for that line of service. Outside of that, though, we knew that we could actually push this a little bit further than just our own website. So we created a content strategy that spanned an entire year and updated it again here in 2025 on how we can go and target those different questions outside of our website. What we came up with was that short videos from like TikTok and Instagram are also showing up in search. And answers to forums like in Reddit and in Quora, you could go there and you could actually be the thought leader that's providing those answers in video and in forums, as well as the blog post on your own website. The next step we took was looking at AI tools and how those AI tools can help us with developing all of these action items. Did we use AI to help us with content? We definitely did. Did we use it to help us with our content strategy? We definitely did. In fact, we mapped out the entire year for our editorial calendar. We knew in January what we were talking about in December. We even mapped out all of our videos, the titles of our videos, and used it to help us with our scripting. So then with an entire year planned out for our content, we were ready to tackle AI and start building all this content to drive more traffic to our website. With that said, I invite you to look at that marketing triangle and see how you can also utilize it to build your business, from learning your audience to building that message to finding the media that works for your audience. AI can help with all of these channels. Specific to the media part, I invite you to go and see how you can find different channels to meet each of those audiences. For our Creekside Kate, that's our second homeowner, we're reaching her by talking on like Thumbtack and Nextdoor and Angie. We're our local audience, we're reaching out to Facebook groups and we're talking in those local social media groups so that we can reach those groups. Find where your audience is and be there to connect with them. Thanks for listening, and it's time to hand it over to Anthony.
Thanks, Cassie. So going back to our framework, I found that my best customers happen to be busy parents, completely overwhelmed with juggling kids' responsibilities, schools, after-school activities, and they just don't have enough time in their day to clean up the backyard. So knowing that, I framed my messaging about giving them reliable, consistent, hassle-free service that they never have to lift a finger again to deal with dog poop. Knowing that, I wanted to focus more on a physical media as part of my marketing campaigns. So for all of my customers, they receive a welcome bag. This welcome bag has a bunch of branded accessories specifically for dog owners, a collapsible doggy bowl, a poop bag dispenser with my logo on it. It comes with an informational health and behavioral guide so a dog owner can actually provide their dog the quality of life that they want to give. So I inundate them with value. I show them that I actually care about the well-being of your dog. We're not just here picking up dog poop, and it helps them feel good about, oh wow, this company really cares about me and my family and my animals. And I'm giving them something physical that they can have, even if they never do business with me again, 3, 6, 9 months in the future, they'll still have that doggy bowl or that guide, and it might trigger them to do business with me in the future. Along with the welcome bags, I worked very hard on referral partnerships. I thought about who my audience is and what are other ancillary businesses that they might do services with. So clinics, vet clinics, dog groomers, landscapers, pest control. These are all types of referral partners that I've implemented with my business. And all these referral partners, they have incentives for my customers with discounts or just freebies, just because they're doing work with Salazar Scoops. So I'm giving my customers all this value. They feel good for supporting a local business, and it reinforces that I am a pillar of my local community. Another area that I wanted to use the marketing triangle on was focusing more on the commercial side. I want to get more into apartment complexes and HOAs, and these types of properties are managed by property managers. When it comes to property managers, I've talked to a lot of them. Their biggest issues is literally the dog poop that's on their property. People don't pick up after themselves, and they get a lot of negative reviews, they get complaints, people leaving all the time, and their maintenance staff is completely overwhelmed because they have other maintenance stuff that they have to do. So how I marketed to property managers is with the use of lead magnets. And the types of lead magnets that I've implemented, I actually wrote a book specifically for property managers. It has a bunch of tactics, things that they can implement on their own property. Even if they never do business with me, they can read this book and it will help them minimize the dog poop problems that they have on their property. I also implemented a free consumer report. This is a 28-page report that has 5 different strategies that they can do right now, and it's essentially a glorified sales letter. It gives them the tip, I show them a use case, and then at the end of the free consumer report, it gives them a call to action to raise their hand and reach out to me for a custom pet waste management plan. And I put all these lead magnets together into something that I call a shock and awe box. So this is a physical item that I FedEx to the customer, or I FedEx to the lead. It has my book, it has my consumer report, it has a DVD that I burned with interviews, blog articles, videos, resources that I've created to send to the customer, once again, to give them that first impression and make them feel like, wow, this is amazing. When I work with this customer, or when I work with Salazar Scoops, I'm getting all this stuff before I even get my property scooped. So these were some of the tactics that I implemented with the marketing triangle. I'm going to hand it back off to Cassie to wrap things up.
Hey, thanks everybody for joining us today. You heard from 3 different home service business owners sharing details on how they were able to take advantage of different direct marketing tactics to bring in more leads for their business. We hope that you can take just one of these items and use it over the next 30 days to also grow your business. We're all available in the chat. Drop us a line, connect with us, and let's keep the discussion rolling. Thank you.